One question that I get a lot is, which do you prefer, Morley Q or J. Calnad? And my answer is always the same. How dare you speak to me? No, I actually prefer J. Calnad, because that is the name that I use to make Relics of Hyrule. If you want to call me Morley Q, you can call me Morley Q. It doesn't matter. The other question I get a lot is, how can I help with Relics of Hyrule? The main thing that I don't need help. I'm doing this all myself, and I'd rather work alone. I have one person helping me with making weapon meshes. He's doing a great job. He made the Sword of the Sages, so we can thank him for that. But if you have meshes that are already rigged up for Skyrim, like masks that are already, you know they will work in Skyrim, or weapons, anything like that, feel free to donate them. I'll be happy to accept them. But anything else, I'm not really interested. I'm not interested in dungeons, I'm not interested in quests, or anything like that. I don't need any help. I have an idea in my head what this mod should be like. If there's one thing that you want to help with, if you're desperate to help with Relics of Hyrule, the one thing that you can do is help with the wiki. We have 191 articles on this wiki, and there's way more work to be done. This is the item list, and all the red ones, all the red words are items that do not have pages. Most of the armors don't have pages. Most of the enemies don't have pages. Most of the ingredients, locations. The lore section is always growing. Why are these two? These two have pages. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. Miscellaneous. Yeah, so this is a big mod, and I can. It'll take a long time to do this by myself. If you want to help, one thing that you can do is go through and remove... Where's the editor? So check editor IDs. So look at pages, check the editor IDs, and if any of them have the word duplicate followed by numbers, probably the Bow of the Great Sea has it. Yeah. So for instance, the Bow of the Great Sea, this is actually not its editor ID anymore. The editor ID is Great Sea Bow. If you want to help, one thing that you can do is remove all these editor IDs that say duplicate and reduce it to the text before duplicate. And it's really easy to do that. You click Edit, wait for it to load, then you double click on this info box. It'll highlight, and it says info box item or something like that. Double click and find the editor ID field and remove duplicate, and that's it. And then you can hit apply changes. Sometimes it'll be below like this, like that, and it'll be in one line. Doesn't really have that in here, but sometimes it'll say Great Sea Bow, but duplicate will be below it, and it'll only show Great Sea Bow. So just go ahead and delete that, and apply changes, and save the page. And I do prefer if people leave summaries. So leave a summary, removed, or corrected editor ID, or something like that. Removed duplicate. Something like that, even if it's just corrected editor ID. That's one thing you can do for help. The other thing you can do to help is to make pages. So you can go to the wanted pages. This is a little more complicated, but if you want to make a page on hover boots, add the page. You don't need to add a ton of information, but I would very much prefer that you add an info box. Info boxes are actually very easy. You make the page, you do insert, info box, and then choose the info box that you need. Misc item and info box misc item are the same. Info box weapon is self-explanatory. Ingredients are alchemy ingredients. So hover boots are armor, so I'm going to click info box armor. And then fill in as much information as you can. And then just leave it be and add some information to the article. The hover boots are a unique pair of boots found in Volunruud. They are cool. No. Like actual legitimate information. They allow the user to walk on water and walk on water. Even something as simple as that, but I would very much like info boxes, and then I can fill in more information. Other users can fill in more information. And if you really want to be helpful, you can get information. If you really want to be helpful, you can get information, and there's a couple ways to do that. If you have Creation Kit, you can open the ESP file and look up the form IDs and everything. Or you can use TES5 edit and open the ESP. It takes a little bit of time to load. Once it's loaded, you can load it up. You don't need to wait for it to build reference info. And then something like, well, we were doing hover boots. Armor, and then find the hover boots. Sometimes it helps if you click editor ID or name. Usually editor ID. And it's usually armor hover boots. There it is. So there's 3 different armor boot. So these are the form IDs. So that number is the form ID, so I can go to the wiki article and fill in the form ID. But the form ID should say and you have there's a template here, and you can see the form ID has number, then 6 digits. Only use the last 6 digits. So the form ID is number 00CBAA. CBAA 00, and that's the form ID for the hover boots, the default hover boots, and the editor ID is armor hover boots. Image hover boots.jpg. I think that works. Image caption description of the actual hover boots, in-game description. That's the thing. Yeah, so as much information as you can put in. Volunruud, anything. Just some information. So we can get this, make this Wikia article, make this Wikia an actually community resource made by the community instead of just me and one other person. It's a little complicated. The Wikia is not great, but all we need is just a little bit of help. Info boxes, removing, spelling errors, removing false editor IDs like the if this said armor hover boots duplicate, remove the duplicate from it. If you want help, the Wikia is the place to go. I guess my only recommendation is to leave the more complicated articles to me. Like the ruptured towers, leave that to me. But the hover boots, you can fill in the information about the hover boots. If you want help about what an article should look like, there are plenty of examples. All 191 articles except the hover boots article for now. Master Sword and Hylian Shield are great articles. The guy who wrote them is a really smart guy, and he is cool. It was me. This is what I want articles to look like. I don't like this, but there's nothing I can do about that. Wikia has some limitations that you have to work with. You don't have to worry about spacing or anything like that. Hylian Shield is another good article. Yeah, this one doesn't have any weird spacing. This is what I want them to look like. Okay, well... Oh, wow, I didn't even finish that. Thank you for watching this, surprisingly, it's 10 minutes, whatever. Thank you for watching. Please help with the Relics of Hyrule wiki. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. There are comment sections on each page, so if you want, you can ask a question. You can ask a question on YouTube, Nexus, Wikia. You can send me a message on Wikia. This is the one area that we need help. So, thank you, and have a day.